Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are starting a new series called Marvel Mondays. That's all you're getting in terms of effects, because I can't pay for that. I'm not paying for the sponsorship on the fucking editing software. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing any of it. But today we're going to be doing Marvel Mondays. The first episode of Marvel Mondays, you are going to be getting a Marvel movie review every single week until Avengers Doomsday comes out. There's going to have to be a few weeks where, when it's getting closer to Avengers Doomsday, I record videos on Mondays and probably Thursdays. And the list I used for this isn't perfectly accurate, so I might have to do some Saturday videos. I don't know. That's still half a year down the line. But right now, we are going to be talking about the movie that started it all. We are going to be talking about Iron Man, the 2008 movie directed by... directed this movie. It might have been Jon Favreau. Might have been the guy that plays Happy. I don't think it was Jon Favreau. I think he might have been a writer on this movie, but I don't think he directed this one. Could be wrong. But Iron Man, obviously, the one with Robert Downey Jr., the one that started it all. Jeff Bridges is in this movie. It's not Kurt Russell. It's Jeff Bridges. Yeah. But... like, what is there to really say about this movie? And I'm not going to do one of those things that I did for the Halloween special, which was recorded over there. Cameraman, if you want to swing, it was recorded right there on that bench. This is where the lovely Jackass skit was filmed, if the cameraman wants to swing that way. Back to me. So, this is not going to be one of those things where I have nothing to say about this movie. I really do enjoy Iron Man. A lot of people say Iron Man is dated, and it is not as good as the MCU's peak, which I will agree, but this is still definitely handily a top 10 MCU movie for me, and a majority of this movie is carried just on the back of Robert Downey Jr. He's so great playing the little douchebag that he plays in these very early Marvel movies. We're going to have Iron Man 2 coming up soon, which, despite a lot of people hating Iron Man 2, I am a huge fan of Iron Man 2, but I do love the setup for this movie. I think it's a very, very good superhero origin story, especially for superheroes are at this time, being in 2008. We do get a lot of better origin stories later on with, like, Spider-Man Homecoming, which isn't technically an origin story because he's already been Spider-Man for a little bit, but I'm rambling. But we get a lot of better ones with, like, Guardians, Spider-Man. I was going to say Thor, but Thor has a really shitty origin story, in all honesty. But we do get a lot of better origin stories at this point. But when you think about it, the original, like, the only origin stories we'd really had before this were, like, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. So in terms of that, I think Iron Man does come out with a pretty good origin story. This is basically just a Tony Stark think piece. I mean, like, straight up, I guess you could say the third lead, because Pepper's probably the second lead in this. I guess you could say the fourth lead, because he doesn't really have a huge factor until the second one. Is Terrence Howard as Rhodey, which is really funny because nobody remembers Terrence Howard playing Rhodey. Everybody remembers Don Cheadle playing Rhodey because he's played him for the last 15 years, and Terrence Howard was only in this one movie because he likes to touch women when they say it's not okay. And we got a little interjection from the camera lady there. This was camera lady's first time seeing Iron Man as a fully functional adult, I believe. Right? When was the last time you saw this movie before today?
I would have been 4.
4? Wow. What was that?
In 2008, I was 4.
Oh, so you saw it. You were waiting for this movie to come out, waiting with bated breath. I remember playing Iron Man on the DS. The Iron Man game on the DS. Sorry, I have to spit. The spearmint zin's hitting me kind of hard. But I really love this movie. The fight scenes are pretty cool. The comedy really hits. We are probably about 10 years away from when the MCU starts to get really egregious with its comedy and starts to get kind of annoying. I think Guardians is the peak of MCU comedy. Guardians, Thor, Ragnarok, all the movies that came out kind of in the lead to Infinity War and Endgame, is the peak of comedy. But we have some good comedy here, mostly just off the back of Robert Downey Jr. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say. I did say something really funny to Camera Lady while watching this movie. I told her that both Jeff Bridges and Raza both survive throughout the entire MCU, and they both die in this movie. Actually, Raza, the Ten Rings guy, he is apparently coming back for Vision Quest, and they kind of leave it open-ended and if he died or not, so he might still be alive. I don't know. Vision Quest doesn't come out till later next year. So maybe I was batting 500, and if you bat 500, you're the greatest hitter of all time. But yeah, Iron Man, great movie to start off the MCU watch along with. Not a watch along because you're not watching these movies with me. The MCU, I guess, retrospective is what we can call it. But I think this is a great movie, well worth your time. Not the score, sorry. Me and Nate have so many debates about this on the podcast. And for once in his life, Nate is right, which don't get used to it, Nate. This movie has a great soundtrack. It doesn't have a score. They obviously have the classic Black Sabbath Iron Man song playing at the end credits. We have, what is it? Is it Back in Black that's playing in the first scene? I think it's Back in Black.
I think it was.
It's an AC/DC song, and I think Shoot to Thrill is the intro to the second one, so I do believe it is Back in Black. But Iron Man, great time, great way to start off the MCU retrospective, especially because we're going to be getting some pretty bad movies into Phase 1. I'm looking at you, Incredible Hulk, for how loosely tied the MCU you are. You are technically an MCU movie. And Thor, especially. I am not going to like watching Thor. Not going to have a good time watching Thor. But Iron Man was a great time. I will give it the score that I've always given Iron Man. Iron Man is an 8 out of 10. But I hope you guys liked the review for how little I actually kind of talked about the movie. This is just little review. You know, we're trying to put more content out on the channel, so these are going to be coming out weekly. So don't be used to like the podcast stuff where we sit and talk about this movie for an hour. I'm not going to stand out here in the middle of the night for an hour and talk about Iron Man. These are just more little snapshots, kind of my opinion. Me and Nate might do kind of like more in-depth thoughts at the end of every phase of Marvel. I don't know if he's down to watch them with me. I haven't talked to him about this yet. So Nate, if you're watching the video, talk to me. Hit my line. But yeah, that was my opinions on Iron Man, kind of a little bit more snapshot. These videos are going to be coming out to you every Monday. I'm going to try to be kind of on the ball with that. I know I'm not always the best with consistent upload schedules, but I'm going to end this video now because the camera light is starting to blind me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review of Iron Man, and I will see you guys next week for The Incredible Hulk.